Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 289. My name is Tom.
And my name's Zen.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down, there is an Amazon banner. If you click through that Amazon banner, go and do your shopping as you usually would. We get 5% of your total basket spend at the end. Doesn't mean you spend any more. It just means that we get a tiny bit of money out of Jeff Bezos's pocket, and that goes towards our internet fees, keeping us on the internet for the next year.
That's it. And if you don't want to help support us by going through Amazon, but you do still want to support us, you can do that on a regular basis if you click on the Patreon banner on our website. For just $1 or £1 a month, it's a single unit of whatever your currency is. Like Tanner, for instance, who became a Patreon this week. You get extra stuff for your pound a month. You will get extra content, such as After Podcast, which are exclusive to our patrons. You get spoiler casts and when we record them, they go out as soon as we record them, rather than having to wait until the DVD or Blu-ray release later on down the line when they go out on our main feed. You'll get YouTube content slightly earlier than the main feed. You also, at this time, while we're doing the lockdown, what one are we? Lockdown 4 now? Lockdown 3?
3, technically.
Yeah, since the coronavirus years, let's call them, we've been doing video content, and that's only been going out for our patrons. All of the audio content goes out to a special little RSS feed that you stick into a podcast app, and that gets delivered automatically to your podcasting app.
You can get in touch with us on social media. We're on Twitter at ABH Pod. We're on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. And we are on YouTube as well, YouTube.com/ABH Podcast, when we do put videos out, which is rarer than hen's teeth at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. You can also get in contact with us via email, abhpod@gmail.com.
Indeed, on this episode, we were supposed to have a guest, but things have happened and he can't make it today. So we talk about other things, including, the TV shows that we're watching.
Yeah, we talk about special effects. That sort of TV show conversation led into a conversation about special effects and stuff.
But then we get kind of introspective and reflective on the last 8 years of our podcasting lives and how they've gotten us to where we are now.
Enjoy.
So we were supposed to have a guest on this morning.
Not to mention the fact that we were also supposed to release an episode last week.
Yeah, we missed the episode last week because I think both you and I woke up at like 10 to 10.
Yeah.
And both of us were like, nothing's really gone on. And the only thing that had happened to me was my birthday. And who wants to hear about someone having a birthday during lockdown?
I think my birthday last year was in lockdown, but for me, perfect birthday.
Yeah, I was going to ask you whether or not, because yours is like the middle of March, isn't it?
No,
like
3rd of April. So I think it was.
Sorry,
No, so I think it was probably towards the tail end of the first lockdown. Would it have been?
No, because I think the first lockdown happened around about. I think the first lockdown happened in the middle of March. I think it was around about the 14th. So that's why I was.
Yeah. And I mean, Chloe had it worse because it was her 13th birthday, so it's like she is now a teenager, can't do anything.
Yeah.
So it was but I had a birthday in lockdown, and I think like for me,
might still have one.
Yeah. No, I will. Yeah, because the next easing, like the next stage of easing, happens on the 12th of April. Happens on Chloe's birthday, so I'm going to have another birthday in lockdown. And I think last year it was like, it's a novelty. Oh, my birthday's in lockdown. Oh, look at it. Now it's just got like a fucking lockdown. Fuck's sake.
It's just another day, isn't it? Yeah. But I was lucky in the fact that like last weekend, or 2 weekends ago now. Last weekend. The weather was really nice. And so I got to see my folks and we went for a socially distanced walk for about an hour.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. because it's the first time I've seen them in the flesh since Christmas Eve when we exchanged presents very briefly on my doorstep. It does make a difference as well, seeing people in the flesh. It's what I've realized is, the Zoom thing, I think we've said all year, it's not quite the same. It does a job.
I don't think it picks up the subtleties of like the expression, like movements and stuff, because we're kind of stuck in front of a camera. We stay here and talk to each other. We're in this box. Whereas when you're seeing people out and about, there's body language. It is very different. Like, this is a close second, but it is very different. You don't get the subtleties as well, because obviously the compression, the camera sort of takes some of the like subtleties away and stuff like that. But it's strange. But I mean, at least you did get out. You were able to walk, and you're able to see your parents just like I say, socially distanced walk. The nice weather has made a massive difference. I found like we've been for a couple of walks in the nice weather. I've been for a drive, and like, it's just seeing people out making the most of the weather. It's just seeing other people enjoying it and getting out and about. It's just kind of, okay, so people are still okay. Like, it's not all doom and gloom.
It's felt like spring, if not the beginning of summer recently as well, hasn't it? Because obviously last time we actually recorded, it started snowing, didn't it?
Yeah, it
while
did.
we were
That was
recording
only 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. And then like literally it was treacherous for the whole week.
Yeah.
Then it rained one night and it all vanished as if it had never been there. Like, it was bizarre. And then since then, it's been really quite nice weather. And especially yesterday, like Joe and I were in the garden doing a bit of weeding, getting things ready to plant out for this year and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's the preparation now, because it's like, we obviously spent a lot of time in your gardens last year, if you have one. And you kind of look around and they're like, right, okay, so we've got loads of this stuff in pots that we bought last year or the year before, and we're like, I've dug like a new bit of a new bit of bedding, probably going to extend the side ones out so we can fit more in there, so it just looks really nice. But,
guess what was happening in our garden yesterday?
I thought I saw some pictures that Liz posted.
Liz's mum, obviously because she's part of our bubble, because she's on her own, so she wanted to come and sort of, we've got the big trough sort of railway sleeper bed that just goes the length of our garden.
It's cool.
Humongous. Liz's mum was like, maybe bring it up some more, so you get some more compost, bring it up. So Liz brought like 2 40-litre bags, and it was like, that didn't touch it.
Not enough.
So we ended up going to the garden centre yesterday and brought 6 70-litre bags. And we got like 1.5 bags left over. And her mum was just planting some bulbs and daffodils and stuff for it. Like, and it's like, yes, she was doing the work for us, but it's work. She absolutely loves doing that anyway. Yeah. And it's just nice to sit in the garden, have a coffee, have a chat. But so we got our gardens started for the year. There's not much else we can do with it because it's artificial grass. It's just decking a shed and that. But we've got pots, so like, I think we'll probably scatter some pots around the decking. Yeah, definitely. We got like about like 100 litres of compost to use. So you got to use that. No, we saved it because obviously it will sink a little bit once. Get water in it and stuff, so we just top that up. And we're old men. Gardening, can't wait for gardening as well to be back on, so I know exactly what I should be doing, because Monty Don's gonna tell me. That's it. I've got a book somewhere that I got from like a seeds company. They were doing like a free packet of seeds in this book, like for a £5 or something. So I got it, and it's like a whole book of like when you should plant stuff, and when you should plant it in pots, and when you should transplant it, and I don't know where it's gone. So I've got a book that tells me all that stuff. Yeah, just got to find it now. So the guest we were going to have on has had a slightly more interesting February. He has, yes, yeah. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a family emergency. Bona fide internet celebrity we were going to get on. Yeah. He's down to come back on at another point. But, he's had a bit of a family issue last night and this morning, so
you know, we hope obviously that he and his family are well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was a bit worrying.
Yeah, because were you on the Zoom call last night when he left, or?
Yeah. Yeah, he did say, I've just got to pop off, I'll be back in a minute.
Right.
And then when he came back, he didn't say anything. I think he made me host. I don't know if he waved because my gaze was elsewhere on the screen. I saw him come back in. I was like, oh, cool, he's back. And then it's gone next time I looked.
Right.
So, so I hope everything's okay.
But. Yeah, me too. I'm sure, sure it will be. But it's was definitely the focus of today's episode is now gone. So this might be a bit rambly.
No, not us.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, it's been a really interesting February, and it's been really good fun watching what this guy's been up to, and yeah, the fact that it's happened to him as well, because I think he's got a specific sense of humor that makes this absolutely perfect.
Yeah, like there's no way any of us could have pulled this off as well as he has. And I mean, we're saying it like, I mean, I don't like we're burying it. Like, I don't know if we should say who it is or just leave it. But if people who listen to us know who our friends are, they know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. No, we couldn't have pulled it off at all. And we're crediting him saying like he's pulled this off, like by his own admission. He's done nothing. Like it's just
he's taken a couple of pictures of some sandwiches.
Like not to discredit his obviously expertise and his fantastic work,
his professionalism,
but like it is just bizarre.
Yeah.
And that's just that's just the internet all over, isn't it? Someone goes, I'm going to do something just for my own amusement, and somehow it catches fire and sets people's imaginations going. Yeah,
kind of grabs people's attention.
But yeah, we won't talk about it because we're going to talk about it loads with his.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We did last night. It took up a majority of the Zoom call last night.
Yeah, it's what I was saying.
And we kept trying to move on, and then it just came back.
It just always came back. Yeah, I kind of wish we'd had that recorded and we could have put that Zoom chat out. Obviously, editing massive chunks of inappropriateness.
Yeah, we should never, ever, ever record our Zoom calls just in case. No. It would take a week to edit it.
It really would. Yeah. I'd have been up all night doing it so that it would be out for today. But it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than that, I mean, the only thing that's really been going on, other than that and work, is just WandaVision. It's just consumed. I think it was one of the things that I texted you last week when we were like, do we really want to do anything? I was like, yeah, it was my birthday and the only thing I care about right now is WandaVision.
Yeah. But that show, man. We're going to do a wrap-up spoiler cast with Andrew once the last 2 episodes have been out. So
yeah,
won't be the next one, will it? Because technically, do you know what? Since we said, oh, we're gonna shift the week, so we're gonna record on our off weeks now, so it doesn't line up with me going to mother-in-laws, and so since we've said that, we've done one, I think, on the week we were supposed. Right. Like next week is supposed to be that week we actually release. Yeah. Now, Liz said to me on Friday, I think it was. She goes, oh. She said, so you're recording this weekend. She said, but in 2 weeks, it's Mother's Day. Do you think you can ask Tom to record next week instead? I'm like, well, technically, that's the week we're supposed to be recording. So we're not supposed to be recording Mother's Day weekend. So I'm sure it's fine. I don't know. Because I'm trying to think.
Mother's Day weekend is going to be the weekend after the last episode of WandaVision goes out.
It is. So do we record the Saturday instead?
I've got nothing against that.
Yeah.
And equally, is that going to be the Patreon content anyway before it goes on to the main feed, or what? Because we were going to cut and shut the two together and release them
as one big,
weren't we? So I'm up for it. I'm up for Saturday night or something.
Would it? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
It's just so bonkers. It's like, because like obviously today now we're going to my mother-in-law, so it's just that whole rushing around getting the episodes up before we get to go out the door, which is why we shifted it, and now it's just gone back to the the weeks we would be recording normally anyway. It's just so.
Why do we try planning these things?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's all it's consumed. I haven't watched anything. I've started watching Penny Dreadful actually. I don't know if you've.
I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
It's really interesting actually. It's really good. But I didn't know. I'd heard the term Penny Dreadful before, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was a book. I didn't know or whatever. But apparently it's like old publications in Victorian times, little pamphlets, wasn't it? And they're called Penny Dreadfuls because they cost a penny. And it was what's the term they use for it? It's like a certain type of fiction or story that they call it Penny Dreadfuls now.
Yeah, but it was like they're quite gruesome tales of like they're not horror, are they? They're more kind of they're more what do you call it? They're not well. Some of them are horror stories. Some of them are kind of like crime fiction as well, aren't they? I think.
So Sweeney Todd was a Penny Dreadful. Sweeney Todd the Demon Barber. I think like Frankenstein is kind of in that. It's like gothic horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Victorian gothic horror type stuff. Yeah, but I don't know. It's really, really interesting series because they sort of mash up everything. Like I'm trying to think characters they've got. So like Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein is a character in it, but then you've also got like there's vampires in it. I assume werewolves are going to come out of somewhere. And
is it Eva Green? Is she in it?
Yeah,
that's the lead, isn't she?
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's definitely got that look for a Victorian sort of gothic horror as well.
Yeah.
Is it Josh Hart? I want to say it's Josh Hart in it, but I think that's the wrong Josh. It might not be actually, but there's quite a few people. Like Timothy Dalton is in there. He plays some explorer. Is probably Sir Malcolm Murray, who's probably quite a famous explorer in literature. Yeah, Josh Hartnett. Ethan Chandler. Yeah, Eva Green, Rory Kinnear, Billy Piper.
Wow.
Yeah, it is really, really. Oh, Helen McCroy's going to be in it later. But yeah, it's really, really, really interesting. Like it's like I think there's like 3 seasons or something. But yeah, we're sort of watching them slowly but surely because you're watching it and you're kind of like, I think I like this. I'm not sure what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, so I think like Timothy Dalton's character, Malcolm Murray, his daughter's gone missing. Like she's been taken, and I think you assume she's been taken by like vampires and stuff. So him, like along with Eva Green's character, are sort of trying to investigate, trying to find her, and they recruit Victor Frankenstein and Josh Hartnett's character to sort of try and sort of uncover what's going on. Dorian Gray's a character in it as well.
Okay, right.
So it's like a real Van Helsing as well. He shows up. But yeah, it's sort of like it's a real mashup of classic sort of gothic horror characters. It's quite good, yeah.
Because I know that you were in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You were one of the kind of side missions was helping this author come up with these ideas for Penny Dreadful stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's set in Victorian London. And yeah, like you would go around and you'd kind of you were solving crimes that had happened, and then you would relay them back to him, and he'd write a story around it. Yeah. So,
oh, okay. Yeah, it's really cool. I assume they're going to mention Jack the Ripper at some point. They're going to have to in this.
Yeah, I would think that was. Yeah, I think that's one of the big kind of folklore-y type stories that came out of it. I think a lot of the Penny Dreadfuls were based around that kind of myth and Spring-Heeled Jack and that kind of thing.
I think they did do a bit actually. Like there was like a crime scene in a house, and I think it was like a mother and a daughter were slaughtered or something. And I think that as the crowd are gathering, I think someone says, "Oh, was it him again?" Like thinking it might have been him. And there was actually a scene where there's like I assume she's a prostitute, a lady of the night, is sort of like standing under a lamppost, like she's waiting for somebody to come along, and then someone's approaching and she gets killed. So it sort of has that, you think it's like a Jack the Ripper type thing. Like maybe these people that are being slaughtered and murdered or turned into vampires or whatever, that people may be thinking it's Jack the Ripper, or that's where it comes from. But then, so Malcolm Murray knows the truth, and it's that sort of detective-y investigation. That really,
sounds really
cool.
interesting. Actually. Yeah, is that on Netflix or is it Sky?
Watching? I think it's Sky, actually. Yeah. I think it's on Sky.
I might have to give that a go.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's like highbrow. It's it's what it is. It's just a bit of light-hearted horror, gruesome.
But that's
fun.
kind of what you want, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know Joe's completely obsessed with all things kind of true crime and Agatha Christie and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
She watches anything that's got murder in the title at the moment. And I'm like, how can you keep watching this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Liz is kind of like that as well. Like the books she reads are all these... Who's the one she really likes? Martine something, or I can't remember. But she reads all those sort of books where it's like crime, murder being solved, and she watches not Grey's Anatomy. She watches all the Silent Witness and stuff like that, where it's if anyone's getting cut open or has a terminal illness that affects the whole family, like Liz will be watching that. Like it's that morbid sort of curiosity thing.
Grief porn, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Grief porn. Yeah, that's what she watches, that sort of stuff, and it's just, and I'm like,
some of it I watch. I do watch Silent Witness, and recently there was a ITV series called The Bay.
Yeah, she loves that.
Yeah, I hate that lead character though. She's such a cow.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, she'll watch all that stuff, but I'm sort of right. I'll study then.
Yeah.
I'll go to my computer program and study. I don't. I will sit. Yeah. The problem is, I will sit and watch it, and I'll get engrossed in it. Like if I try and sit in the chair in the living room reading my book, I just find my eyes just constantly being drawn to the TV. I'm like, no, stop! I need to move.
It's like all that stuff, though, isn't it? It's like the Great British Bake Off. We were like, oh, why?
Did you watch Best Celebrity Home Cook?
I didn't actually, but Joe did.
Oh, it's really good.
I know. I heard
Ed Balls is like a really nice guy.
Yeah. There were a couple of people on there that I just couldn't stand listening to their voices.
I ended up loving him.
No, not just him.
Oh no, but he's the one that stands out.
Yeah.
But I ended up absolutely loving him. Like his character, sort of like excuses the way he speaks, if you know what I mean. Like because of how flamboyant and sort of how he is. What's the word I'm looking for? How extravagant he is. Yeah, it sort of makes up for that voice that would normally, like when he first came, we watched the first episode and he started speaking, I was like, what the fuck is that? But like by the second or third episode, I'm like, I love him. He's great. Like he's so nice. And yeah, I mean, you had Boris Johnson's sister on there, and stand her. Yeah. But yeah, but no, it was really good. I really, really liked it. Yeah, I love those programs. Yeah, it's like you say, it's not trash telly, but it's just addictive, isn't it? It's sort of
it's annoyingly so in some cases. Like, I never really fancied getting into Bake Off, but here I am, however many seasons in.
Yeah, and I think especially Bake Off, like new Bake Off, Channel 4 Bake Off, like we approached it with some trepidation, and I wasn't a fan of the Noel Fielding and Sandy Toksvig duo, right. But the Noel Fielding and Matt Lucas is hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's not the same, but it's still good. And the Masked Singer as well. Last year, the Masked Singer, I was like, what the fuck? What a stupid concept. Why the fuck is anyone watching that? And slowly, this year's concept, I was like, did you think that? Yeah, no, it can't be. Is it? Oh, no, we got to watch it. We need to know. And I try to limit the amount of time I sit in front of the TV now. Like there would be a time when I'd come downstairs, like in the morning, and stick the TV straight on and sit and just stay. And I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So when you get these programs that you just can't stop yourself from watching, no, I'm not being productive.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Mine are more. I mean, I told you I kind of blasted through Peggy Carter as well, the Agent Carter.
Oh yeah.
For like, I did both series of that in like 2 or 3 weeks.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Bit
Such
of a shame because one of the leads came back in the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, really? Oh,
because there was a lot of time traveling. It was the guy, the main guy with the prosthetic leg. I can't remember his name now.
No.
And then I started watching The Runaways as well, but
I've not started that at all. I've not even looked at that. Peggy Carter, I don't know why we stopped. I think it was probably something to do with the service we were watching it on stopped having it. So I can't even remember. Or we had it recorded on our Virgin Media box and then we got Sky, so we lost it and never went back to it. Or it was something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was and she was one of those characters in the films that you sort of wanted to know more about because she was pretty badass. Plus Hayley Atwell, right? You can't you've always
absolutely
more of Hayley Atwell is not it's great.
Yeah.
That's why I was so happy. I don't know. I mean, people know that she's in WandaVision, don't they? Kat Dennings.
Yes,
people know. It's all over the place. I was really happy to see her back.
Yeah, I thought it was just nice that they're giving these kind of bigger roles to characters that have been maligned.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, because I don't think people really liked her character in the second Thor
I did.
movie.
I really liked second Thor film. I liked her in the first Thor film. But the second Thor film, people,
it's definitely one of the worst.
Yeah.
Of the lot.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see a dark elf in the MCU again, frankly.
Please.
Yeah. But no, and the Jimmy Woo character as well, coming back in just like some random CIA agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp, just returning.
Yeah, it was great because I never finished Ant-Man and the Wasp for some reason. I think we were watching it and Liz fell asleep, so I just turned it off. You know that I don't know if you get the same where when you're watching a film with someone they fall asleep, I get like irrationally angry.
Right.
I for fuck's sake, might as well just turn it off. Like, I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
So just sit up. You'll stop falling asleep.
So rude. Hundreds of people worked on this, and you're falling.
But I just get irrationally angry. I don't know why. But Liz tends to struggle. Like she's definitely not a night owl like me. So at a certain time, I will wake up and she would just fall asleep, like that sort of thing. But I never finished watching Ant-Man and the Wasp. But when I saw him, and I was like, I recognise him from somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I didn't figure it out straight away. It was only when I kind of did a little bit of reading afterwards that I was like, oh, of course, yeah. And the little sleight of hand thing that he does ties in. Yeah.
I always do. Yeah, so just in case you don't remember.
Yeah.
There's a little thing to jog your memory. I've been sitting watching, like when we're watching WandaVision, like at the end, if there's some sort of reveal, I'm fucking right. Onto the MCU wiki, onto the Marvel wiki. Who is that character? Why are they there? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks more and more though like our prediction. It's getting further and further from our prediction, isn't it? Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Like, there's quite a few curveballs, so I'm not sure. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see, though.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it off the main podcast. Yes.
But and then the next month, like it literally finishes in 2 weeks later. You've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, which looks really cool.
It looks like it's going to be
buddy cop in it.
Yeah, Mission Impossible mixed with
Lethal Weapon or
or yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well, it's two characters who kind of wind each other up, but work together in these kind of fantastical action adventure settings.
I'm loving by the looks of the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier as well. Like the production value is just bonkers. I
mean, if you think about like the WandaVision one as well, like it's not showy, but there's a lot of effects in there, and it's movie level.
Yeah, it looks like you're not watching it like when you watch like the DC Universe TV series. You're like the effects are slightly off. Like they didn't quite have the budget of the films, whereas this is. And
the cameras as well. Like there's something about the cameras that look a bit televisual on like the Flash.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. It looks like a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's made by a different studio, which I assume, I guess it is. But yeah, the Marvel ones like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like you look at those effects and the trailer, it looks like a film trailer. Like, the level of effects in it is, Oh.
Sorry about that. I've got a frog in my throat this morning.
Yeah.
It's but that's what I think really is amazing about this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing.
Yeah.
Like everything looks like it could be played on. I mean, the WandaVision, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier stuff looks like it could easily be played in a cinema.
Yeah.
As well as on the small screen, and it would all look roughly the same. I need to go back and have a look at some of the early films to see whether the graphics hold up.
Yeah. I think they do, because like occasionally, like if we're sitting down and what should we watch, and Liz will just stick up like Disney Plus one of the Marvel films, and I don't, when you go back to an old film with special effects, you look at it and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
I never have that feeling with Marvel films, but I don't know if that's because they look just as good or because everything else surrounding it is just so good that you don't really pay attention to the effects. Like, I think possibly some of the animation stuff with like the first Iron Man film, possibly, like as he's flying and stuff, like,
because when was it? It was released in 2008. So that's should have quit maths. 14 years ago.
It's mad,
and
isn't it?
Normally, you look back at something that's a decade and a half old, and you can see, how far things have advanced. Like, because Jurassic Park really stood up for a long time, but you go back to Jurassic Park now, and like, the big kind of CG elements of it are beginning to look quite ropey.
Yeah, like I know they did a lot of it in the dark, so it covers up a lot of it, but I think that's more the animatronics. But even some of the CG in the dark, it's really good. But if I think the Velociraptors in the kitchen, or when else do you see them?
Or in the control room where they're jumping up at them in the overhead grates.
Now a lot of what it is, and now I watch like the Corridor Digital ones where they break down effects and stuff like that. So I picked up a few things. So it's like a lot of the textures and stuff look quite flat. I've got it as well for some reason.
It's weird. It's catching, isn't it?
Yeah, they look quite flat. And the lighting doesn't quite add up. But I mean, they're still really good. They still look really good. They're not hyper real, but
don't get me wrong. I still love Jurassic Park. I'll watch it whenever it's on.
T2 is one that back in the day you're like, oh wow, and now you're looking at it like, ooh, wow, But you got to take it in like context of when what was that, like 90? I mean, Jurassic Park was what, 92, 93?
93 was Jurassic Park, wasn't it? And I think Terminator 2 was earlier than that, wasn't it?
I don't know. Was it earlier?
Because the first one was in the 80s. I think 1991.
Wow.
Was T2 Judgment
That's
Day.
mad. That scene in the hospital when he sort of comes out of the floor when you've got the checkerboard. Like,
yeah, no, that looks a bit rough,
mind bending.
But
but thinking about when they used to, like nowadays, if you were going to make a 3D effect in a film, you can see what you're doing, and you physically move all of the components and the bones in these characters you've rigged up with them, like computer simulated muscle and with Terminator 2, like they wouldn't have had the wireframe like visual representation. They would have to, like, I think if you like, I watched some of the old Pixar documentary things and stuff, they would have to use like maths. They'd have to program this animation, render it out for like days, and then hope it worked.
Yeah, because there's a couple of outtakes of things that went wrong. I can't remember whether it's one of the Toy Stories or it's one of those earlier Pixar movies where they put, I think, in the outtake bits at the end where the 3D, or maybe it was on a DVD special feature, but somewhere in my collection somewhere there's a bit where they have shown the renderings that went wrong.
Yeah.
So like characters are randomly floating around or bending in weird ways and stuff, you know.
That's fantastic, that stuff though.
But it shows you the complexity of what they were working with and how it, you know.
Yeah, it's just mad. I think it's like it was like the Pixar Story. You see some of the early sort of like the shorts they made, like the Luxo Junior and stuff, and how it looks and how they did it, and it is mad. That's one of my favorite things on the Disney Plus at the minute is the documentaries.
Yeah.
I'm quickly running out of them though. Like the Pixar one specifically, I love. I don't know what I've got left to watch. I mean, I think I'm finishing Prop Culture. I've got like 2 or 3 episodes of that left. I don't think I've got anything else. Like there's a new Pixar one that they released a little while ago, which follows a member of staff at Pixar for like a day or so.
All right.
And I watched that, and it's just amazing. And I'm watching it, and instantly I was like, "Jobs at Pixar," because it's just looks so amazing. And like they talk about, like in there, you're seeing about when they were planning Onward and stuff like that, and Soul. But they don't follow like the obvious people. Like they do follow a writer, but he's a writer from one of the Spark shorts,
right.
And you follow a sound mixer or a sound director, not a composer. But he's someone that designs the sounds and talks to the directors and says, "What do you want?" and then comes up with little things and then shows it to them. No, actually, I want this. And once he's come up with it, then it goes to the composer. They follow like the pastry chef who works in the canteen diner. Like she works on her own. They follow a PA who used to be like a big director at an energy company, but actually she really wanted to go and work at Pixar.
Right.
So she went to PA level at Pixar. And like but they follow, what's the other one? The facilities manager. Like people you don't necessarily expect. You don't think about those people at Pixar. Like you think of the big directors, the actors, but they're following all these just random people. It's just really fascinating. I love those documentaries.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
and yes, it's Disney, so it's like, look how great it is to work for Disney, and it's like, ignore that person having a breakdown over there.
But it's interesting to see the less well-regarded, I guess, jobs or the jobs that you think about the most, and kind of, you know, it's a bigger company than just the animators and the big writers that get all the kind of glitzy, you know, all the recognition. I can see that, and I'd imagine they'll be putting out something in the similar vein to the Mandalorian documentaries after WandaVision is finished. I
haven't watched the Mandalorian ones because I haven't watched the Mandalorian, and I might.
Oh,
so
right.
I might watch the Mandalorian. So I haven't watched the documentary because I
didn't realize. Okay,
no,
you should.
I know.
You definitely should.
Yeah, I know.
You're the Star Wars guy out of the two. As well.
That's the thing, is that I watched the first episode of it and was like, yeah. Like it was just the first episode. I was like, like for most of it, it was the meh, and then that final like gunfight with the the bounty hunter robot. Well, he was a bounty hunter, and then you had the bounty hunter droid.
Yeah.
The fucking one with the long arms that spins.
Yeah.
Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
But the show itself, I was just kind of like. But yeah, I did consider this morning because I got up quite early, and I thought, shall I stick another episode of Mandalorian on? Because there is some like stuff I need to watch that I would watch on my own. I don't think Liz would be particularly interested in. So
I would say it's certainly worth sticking with.
Yeah.
And this is from someone who can give or take stuff
Star
like
Wars.
that.
Yeah. I would say though that
it reminds me. It's got the feel of the original trilogy to it, like all the set work and all the costumes and all the technology used in it. It's original trilogy stuff.
Yeah, that interestingly, you know that one scene in Mandalorian, the end of season 2.
Oh right, yeah,
that one scene. Corridor Digital did a "Can we make it look better?" Because it's a bit like and they're a small studio, and it's like, can we make it look better? And they almost did,
right?
And it's really weird, like how they seem to do better than Disney.
Yeah,
and it's really weird. It's a really interesting watch to see how
it is strange that you think, like, you know, with the Marvel stuff, they can do that process really quite well, almost seamlessly, in fact.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lucasfilm guys can't, and you would imagine that there would be some crossover.
Yeah.
Now that they're owned by the same parent company.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, because the Peter Cushing stuff was all right in Rogue One.
Peter Cushing was better than the Leia.
Yeah, the Leia stuff was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's but I will watch it. I definitely will watch it. I think
I think it's worth your time. I'm just trying to think of other things that I'm watching at the moment, and nothing is coming to mind. I'm spending a lot more time, obviously, working. Yeah,
I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day that you're going to be host. I don't know if are you doing a series, or is it just the one interview you've done?
It's going to be a series. It's like this kind of German technology company. Basically, I got a call off an ex-colleague of mine who got laid off over the summer, and started her own kind of events and marketing company. And she's got a contract for some German technology company that's got a UK arm, and they're looking to kind of do these behind the scenes type interviews and stuff.
Sort of like that Pixar documentary.
Yeah, probably it's not
probably not to that level.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like they want to kind of humanize their workforce essentially, and kind of highlight certain people.
They're going to handpick the real people that work for them.
Yeah.
To be on camera.
Yeah, so I did one the other day, and it's literally like, you know, you ask the kind of you know, the obvious questions like what's your role in the company and all that kind of stuff, and then like they want really banal kind of questions like, I don't know, what did I ask? You know, are you a cat or a dog person? And like, you know, what you do in your spare time to kind of unwind, you know, hobbies and that kind of thing. You know, it really kind of, it's bizarre. It's something that I've never had to. Normally I'm asking technical questions, and to ask very kind of normal questions to people I would usually be asking very technical questions seems a bit weird, and I'm going to get paid for it, and I don't have to do any editing. Like, I literally turn up on Zoom like this, and I spent 10 minutes kind of talking to this person to kind of, you know, set the tone, if you like. And then we recorded the interview for a further 10 minutes. And then we had a really long conversation afterwards because she'd mentioned that a film that she loves is Labyrinth. And I was like, oh, have you watched the Netflix series? And she was like, no, because I wasn't sure whether it was going to be any good. And I wanted to go deep into that in the conversation, but then was like, well, I have to move on to the next question.
Yeah.
But afterwards I was like, oh, by the way, the Netflix series, I haven't watched it, but I know that it is all animatronics and it's all the Jim Henson Company.
What's that, the Dark Crystal one?
Oh shit, it's Dark Crystal, isn't it? Maybe yeah, okay.
Never mind.
That's a good point. Oh well, she'll go.
It's in the same vein, isn't it?
It's the same kind of thing.
I was like, I didn't know they were linked. I thought I'd missed something. But anyway, yeah.
That was my bad because I've not watched any of them.
At the same time, I think with Labyrinth, and I think if you like Labyrinth, you'll probably like Dark Crystal. Yeah, I think it's just, in that. Yeah,
they're close enough, aren't they?
Yeah. As far as I know, I've not seen Dark Crystal, so I don't know.
But equally, we were kind of talking about, because she's only been with the company for 3 weeks or something, which was bizarre. But yeah, then we were talking about things, and she mentioned a company that's looking to do podcasts that she knows, and she was like, oh, I'll put you in contact with them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all about networking, man. So I'm doing these. I don't know how many there's going to be.
Because I was thinking when I saw it, I was like, I didn't realize that was a service that you had on your profile that you offer, like on camera interviewing stuff. But it's like, no.
It's not. It literally came out of like my ex-colleague. She phoned me up and was like, look, I'm looking to do this. Is this something that you would do?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, because it sounds easy. Like it's like I say, it's not. It's getting to know you types of chat. And then I don't even have to do any of the editing either. Like my ex-colleague is going to do all that. And
that's amazing.
Fucking hell, man. So that's kind of cool. And I've added that as as something in my kind of LinkedIn profile anyway. And then once the videos go up, then they'll be out there for other people to see, and
you'll have like demos.
Yeah, it'll be just an extra string to the bow.
Yeah.
The other thing that came up this week as well is that I'm writing the history of a certain toy company for a certain book.
Are you indeed?
Yes, yeah. So I spent 2 hours the other day doing that.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. And then I might be doing some proofing and making sure that everything reads.
So is that a chapter in a certain book that you're writing? Or is it like a companion piece?
It's like a double page spread in the book at the beginning
that
tells the story of the toy company.
Very nice. I wonder how you got that.
Again, just conversations
people
with people,
isn't it?
man. This is what I'm starting to realize. It's like the whole freelancing thing has kind of progressed a lot quicker than I imagined that it would, and it's literally because I know people.
And the fantastic thing about it as well is when you were working for a company, you did the work that company wanted you to do. You may have had like a non-compete clause in your contract, which meant you then couldn't go and do other work. Whereas being freelance, it's kind of like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I'm going to go and do that now. And you're picking bits that you want to do. You're enjoying doing the work. And it's not just writing, because you're doing on-camera stuff. You're recording, you're editing.
I've got a podcast series coming my way as well from another company that's coming through soon. 3 or 4 episodes of that I get to edit, which is it's just and it's proof that I'm doing this stuff and can do this stuff, and people are using my services. So with any luck, that then opens the door to other people who are thinking of doing that kind of thing. And it's pretty soon I'll be at the point where I'm going to have to start turning people down, which is a great position to be in, really.
Which is it's fantastic. And the good thing is as well, it's like, I want to go on holiday, but I've got this bit of work to do. Okay, I'll just take my laptop with me.
Yeah, precisely. I can do it.
And I'll sit in a bar. I'll pay for like a couple of hours in hotel Wi-Fi, and I will do my work while I'm drinking, while I'm sat in this hotel bar in Spain or Greece, or wherever you are. The only downside of this is I mean, it might still happen, but your company aren't sending you to Texas and LA and.
Yeah, I mean, I attended a virtual event that would usually be out in the States.
Yeah.
In the snow week, like the entire week I spent on my laptop kind of doing interviews and attending speeches and stuff like that. And that I've got to work through, because then I had like 2 features that I needed to do for the next week. And so I haven't gone through what I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I've got about 5 feature ideas come out of that, really, one for each day.
And in theory, if I'm trying to think how you could do it, because you could write the feature pieces and then just go and say, hey, I've written this piece. Do you want to put it on your website? Mm-hmm. And you could do that for one article. You could publish it on 2 or 3 websites. Yeah,
I don't know how that works. I'm certainly going to repurpose one that was a UK based one, but then I saw something similar at the US and I thought, well, I can just rewrite a few bits here. And
I don't know how it works, because I suppose you could, in theory, business talk here, in theory you could have different levels of rights, whereas like if a website wanted to have that article exclusively, you would charge them more. But if you made them aware that the article was going to appear on a couple of other websites, because the thing is with like search engine optimization, obviously unique articles do better, don't they? Like if the article is on 2 or 3 websites, it's less likely to show up than if it's only on the one website.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, like you could offer, like you could write the piece and offer it and just have a different level of exclusivity rights, I suppose.
Guess that's the way forward. I've never really thought of it like that, because it's always been about kind of original copy and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's certainly something I'm going to do in the next week, is kind of write those things up and then start looking for buyers, basically. But I've also started getting paid. Like everyone paid me this week.
Nice
work that I've been doing, and it's like it's almost overwhelming.
Oh, really?
Every couple of days there was like something else coming in, and I'm like, fuck, I've been living like a miser for the last 3 months, and now all of a sudden, like,
Scrooge McFucking Duck.
here's a fucking full month's wage, basically. So yeah,
but that's good, because now that's started to roll. But now the problem is you need to keep track of who's paid you and who hasn't, and be chasing up the people who haven't.
Yeah, this is where the apps come in. They
remind you.
Yeah. So, great. But yeah, so it's, and it's really cool. There are these weird avenues opening up, and it's opening my eyes to other things that I could be doing, not just writing.
And no commuting.
Yeah. So I'm saving tons of money there. It's you can do it all from. I can do it all from my kitchen. Like literally, you'll see that interview that goes out whenever that has been edited and is published, and it's literally, I'm here. I've got the microphone set up, but I'm not using it. It's like
it looks good.
Yeah, no, I know. I said to the woman I was interviewing, I was like, I've got this set up here. It's just to make me feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. It wasn't even plugged in. I was like, here, look. But it's like, what's that American talk show where like he's got a microphone on the end of the desk, but it's clearly not.
I don't know which one that is.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's the old
announcer
rockabilly mic, isn't it?
Yeah. Because actually, I tend to find that even using onboard stuff like Zoom is all right. It does a decent enough job at cancelling.
As long as your laptop's got a good microphone array at the bottom. Yeah. It's like mine, it's a gaming one, so it's got like, I think there's microphones in like the speaker grills, and the speaker grills are slightly angled inwards, so it's aimed at me for like sound, and I think the microphones are there as well, so it just sort of picks up. But they're good, and like you say, the Zoom has got the great built-in sort of noise cancellation and stuff like that. It's because and the thing is, it's that thing we said at the start of lockdown 1, was when we started doing this remotely, was everyone is working from home. Everyone, like nobody's expected to have the best sound. So
no, exactly.
This company are doing this thing like, this is what we're doing in our company, and possibly at some point it's going to be during lockdown, this is how we're managing, and it's like people sat at home.
Yeah,
like I know on like my company's website, they did a series of similar sort of things. It's like, here's the director of health and care, here's the director of this, here's the person that, and it's them at home with their families sat in their kitchen. Like our trainers at the start when I first started were sat at home and like, give me a second, the postman's just come, and they're sort of like getting up and answering the door, and it's like,
yeah,
everyone's doing the same thing, everyone's in the same boat. So
yeah,
the sound doesn't have to be perfect, and if they want the sound perfect, it's up to your ex-colleague to make it sound perfect.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
She didn't pay you for editing.
Oh, mate, yeah. It's interesting.
She just paid you to be there on camera talking.
I'll tell you how much it was after we get off.
Is it ridiculous?
I mean, when you break it down as an hourly, yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Nice. Mate, it works.
Yeah.
The annoying thing is, I bet it's kind of like, why did I not do this before?
Yeah, like, why haven't I thought of this?
But you didn't have that little nest to sort of
that's
back
it,
you up,
it's all, it's all good.
And that guy I put you in touch with, David, that's what he did. He specifically, he knew he wanted to be freelance, I believe. So he spent like a year saving money that gave him the buffer to be able to try it. And it worked for him. And like, you had a similar thing. You managed it through like the poor circumstances of redundancy. You managed to have that buffer
and furlough as well.
And you were saving up, weren't you? In furlough, you were sort of like, say, living like a miser. You were sort of like tightening the purse strings. So you had the furlough savings. You had the redundancy money that allowed you to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm living off, like, because Joe's been really kind and has, has said that I don't have to pay her, my half of the mortgage and bills and stuff. So that's really helped, because it means that I don't have that quite major outgoing every month. Yeah,
of course.
But obviously I've paid her this month because I've been given loads of money. So like, but yeah, it's meant that like I basically live off about 40 quid a week at the moment.
Nice.
Because that's just food and drink for, when, making lunches and, the occasional bit of takeaway if I'm feeling flat.
Yeah. And like I say, it's like you're saying, you got this money coming in, and it's not like, and you're getting paid stupid amounts of money, but the road to that point has not been fucking easy.
No,
like at all. So,
I've certainly had to change my lifestyle. Let's put it.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, it's not been an easy road. So it's like I'm really pleased it's worked out for you, like how you've wanted it to. I know, like we've said this before anyway, but I am really pleased. And it was a couple of years. Do you remember when I read that book a couple of years ago, the 4-hour work week, and I was talking to you about it? And it was about like commuting and trying to prove how more productive you are. And now you're fucking living that dream, like the working from home, working for yourself. You can pick and choose what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's, I think it all stems back to that really low point right at the beginning of the podcast, really.
Yeah.
Where we did a call out, didn't we, for people to be like, send in your dream jobs. Like, and there were a couple of people, Robbie Polanco, for example, who's been, live tweeting episodes from like 2 years ago.
Mate, I think it's been longer than that.
Yeah, I think it might be. I was trying to figure out.
Last night when Charlie, was it Charlie or was it? Yeah, Charlie Mahoney, Thinking Pause was on the Zoom call last night. It was such a nice surprise. I can't remember which one of those two it was, and they were kind of like, yeah, it's been like 6-7 years now, hasn't it? I just went, fuck. I know, and Robbie used to live tweet Stinking Pauses when Charlie was in it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's been a little bit longer than 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I think 2 years ago it was when he started listening again, because there was that big break, wasn't there? While I don't know, was he deployed, or there was something going on where he couldn't listen as much anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think 2 years ago was when he started listeing to all of us like properly again.
I think you're right, but no, he was live tweeting an episode like last week.
Yeah,
but it was from
way back
200. It was in the 100 and something, or
yeah,
way back. Anyway, what was I saying? He was one of the people that contributed to that episode who was doing something that he loved. He was photographer in the
military photographer, isn't he?
Wasn't he? Yeah. And there were a couple of other people as well.
Was it him? No, I thought Steve
was it one of the
photojournalist.
Oh, that's right. No, it was Steve.
Steve from Drunk Geeks was the photojournalist.
But Robbie was saying about his job as well, like, you know, the fact that he's in the military, he loves what he does.
Yeah.
Like a couple of them, you know, were saying that, you know, they got there, and I think that really did. I mean, that inspired me to get out of the bank. That's for damn sure.
Oh, for sure.
And
although you did have that wonderful story from the bank where the guy came in and held it up with a knife, which wasn't wonderful at the time.
No,
but great podcast story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can't remember what episode that was, but go back through the archive.
Yeah.
And that got me to where I was, and then, you know, circumstances in the last 12 months have prevailed, and I'm now my own boss. Like, and it's the same with you as well. Like, you were working on the car line, and it was not conducive.
No, not at all.
You know, your mental health and whatever, and then you got a job in mental health. And
which I did love that job, but unfortunately the hours and stuff just,
it takes its toll, doesn't it?
I can't. Shift work is a really, really, really difficult thing to do. Working nights just didn't do me any good. I wasn't getting decent night's sleep. It did affect like home life as well. And there's been a couple of times recently, like, where I've been sat working, and as I've been just fucking like investigating stuff and what's gone on here, and because like what my job is, like, it's proper deep investigation, as in, like, this isn't working, why isn't it working? And there's no script, there's no like, oh, if this happens you need to do X, Y, Z. There's a few things like that, like the common things that come up, but some of them it's just kind of like, that's not working, that's weird, why is that not working? And I'm actually saying that to the customer on the phone, that's really weird, isn't it? It shouldn't be doing that. Let me have a look at like, and you can talk to them like that. And I've been doing the investigation. I've just sat there and gone like, I fucking love my job.
Yeah,
I really liked it. Like, it's because it's like really challenging, like mentally challenging. It's great. I do. I really, really enjoy it.
It's still solving problems, but it's not in the same way that it was at the mental hospital. Not the mental hospital, the
psychiatric hospital,
the facility that you worked at before.
Yeah,
sorry.
The psychiatric hospital. I used to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I meant was mental health ward. That was what I was supposed to say, but for some reason it came out.
It's not like when you're working at the nut house. No straight jackets and padded rooms there.
Yeah.
No, not at all. More's the pity in some cases. But no, I don't believe that. I don't think straight jackets and padded cells should happen. Let me put that out there.
But it's been interesting to see like how the last year has dealt both of us quite interesting hands.
Oh, for sure.
And it's good.
Do you know what I've just thought of, and I've really loved the fact is like you talking about back then, and it's the fact that we, like, us two can actually go back, and even some like our family and even some of our friends that have been on as well, is like we can actually go back and listen to when we were like that.
Yeah.
Like, we've got it documented. Like the last how many years of our lives?
7 or 8 years, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, we've got it documented.
Yeah, because it was February that the first episode went out, wasn't it? Or was it the end of January?
It was the end of January.
Yeah.
2012. Yeah.
9. We're in our 9th year.
9 years.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, 10 years next year.
But I would say as well that, like, having done this for that long, when my colleague came to me the other day and was like, do you think this is something you could do? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, like
I can sit on one end of Zoom and talk to someone I've never met before and ask them a couple of question.
That's it, isn't it? And
it's what I do.
Now, the thing is, go back, listen to our first episode. What was the whole purpose of us wanting to do this?
Precisely that, mate. Yeah, it
was to be able to talk.
Yeah, getting better at communicating, getting better at public speaking. And I think from my point of view as well, it was like try and get some sort of journalistic or radio career going.
Yeah, was you doing hospital radio at the time?
Yes. Yeah, I
Weren't
was.
You? Yeah. And you really liked it, and that's what you wanted to move into. And it sort of changed ever so slightly. But
yeah.
And
I mean, I'd still love to do that, but it's just,
Yeah. But the great thing as well is like, you wanted to get better at public speaking. Chuck me on a stage at a convention to introduce people. That'll fucking work.
I've done that. Like this has helped me in that situation. Like the fact is as well that occasionally, like being on stage in a band as well, like you forget that first opening lyric, or like your brain suddenly goes blank and you forget how to play a certain part of the song. Like that has happened to me while giving these things. Like I've forgotten the name of the person I'm supposed to introduce, but the ability to vamp a little bit so that I can then so that I can kind of turn around, have a sneaky look at the presentation slide behind me, try and make that as seamless as possible. Like everything that we do here and also previously in bands and stuff and continue to do in bands, hopefully, fucking hell, have also helped in that regard. So I
don't think without this podcast, like working in mental health, I don't think, because a huge part of working as a support worker in that hospital was being able to communicate with people, listen and sort of say what you actually want to say, like rather than say something and get it misunderstood and end up with a fist in your face, like because that was a very real threat there. So actually being able to find your words and say what you're meant to say, which I had a lot of trouble doing on the Zoom call last night, apparently. At one point. It's being able to find your words and communicate and without this podcast there's no way. And now, like in my job now, part of the criteria for moving on to, because at the minute I'm an associate support consultant, and part of the moving on to become a support consultant is to train somebody or have a session where you've got a group of people and show them how to do something. Like that's part of my job now, is I have to be able to do that at some point, and I have to be able to prove it to get that tick to move on to the next level. So this definitely does help with that sort of shit. And being comfortable and like with the webcam on as well. Like because you get onto a lot of calls and someone's like, oh, can we stick our cameras on? And it's just like, here we go again.
Well, that was the thing. I think when we introduced the video version of the podcast in the beginning, I was less bothered than you were, certainly, about having it on YouTube and stuff. But certainly, especially since Zoom, it's become a much more kind of natural thing to do, isn't it? A lot of podcasts are on YouTube now. There's a lot of podcasts with the video element now. Back then there was quite a few, like some of the bigger ones did, but now it seems to be like a more common thing. Now, we're not doing it on YouTube anymore, but no, because we already did that. We were ahead of the curve.
That's it, mate. That's it. Trendsetters. Trendsetters.
And those guys, the pioneers, never get the recognition they deserve, do they? That's the thing. At all. They don't. You always find that. One day, in about 30 years' time, people will rediscover those YouTube videos. And, actually saying that, Zach was round for my birthday as well. Joe's son.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he was going through YouTube the other day and various episodes of this podcast came up because once upon a time he must have searched for it.
Brilliant.
He was like, it was the old kitchen and like it looked really weird.
Gosh, I should probably take them down at some point.
He was like, there was that one where you had a cold.
Oh, sneezing, sniffles. Was it?
Yeah, sneezing, sniffles, and something else, because we were doing alliterative titles at the time that always had to have 3 for no apparent reason.
Yeah, this, that, and that. And we used to struggle. And now it's like, yeah, we'll just fuck it, that. Catching up. That'll do. Oh, God.
Well, it's been an interesting decade, hasn't it? Nearly.
Yeah.
And it's surprising that you can draw a line directly from episode 1 to what's happening with both of us now.
Yeah.
And be like that mission statement at the beginning has kind of like, it's weird that it's kind of, it's taken 9 years maybe, or, 5 years in some cases. And, but you can draw a straight line from that episode to where we are now.
Yeah. So
little bits in the middle.
So we have achieved our mission statement. So that was the final episode.
We're done.
We're done, mate. We've completed it, mate.
Completed it. And there's the episode title.
Completed it, mate. Done.
You'll get one more bonus episode. Well, you get 2 more bonus episodes after this episode, and one will be the guest that was supposed to be on today, and the other one will be the WandaVision catch up, and then that's it.
And that's it. Then we're done. We're not. Right, what the fuck else are we going to do with our lives?
Exactly. We need to document every single fortnight of our lives.
Yes, because people do care.
That's what. So until the next time we are together, I have been Tom.
And I've been Ant.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.